One of the reasons I've always enjoyed tying the Zug Bug is because it's just such a good looking pattern. It's pretty, and it catches fish. It was also one of the first fly patterns I ever tied when I was learning how to tie flies when I was about 14 years old. Today we're going to tie it on a size 12 2x long nymph hook, and because it's not beaded, I am going to add several wraps of 0.015 lead wire, and it also just helps give our fly a little bit more bulk right there in the thorax area. Next I'm going to attach some 12/0 black thread right behind that lead wire, and I'm going to make several wraps over top of the wire and in front of it just to kind of lock that in place. For the tail, we're going to use 3 fibers off of this peacock sword. I'm going to make that tail about a little over half the length of the body. I like a long tail on my Zug Bugs. I like the color of that peacock sword. It's has a little bit of a bluish tint to it, unlike the green Hurl, which also has a little bit of blue, but the sword, you can definitely tell the blue that's in there. For the tail, I'm going to use mylar tinsel. This is flat tinsel. It's gold on one side and silver on the other, and I'm going to tie that with the gold side facing up. Next, we're going to use peacock Hurl for the body, and I've pulled out 3 strands here, and I just align them so that the fibers are facing up. Now, so I'm going to trim off the tippy tips and tie those all in together. And keeping a hold of them, I'm just going to begin turning them around the hook shank and just try to keep all those fibers facing the same direction up. And it's not easy to do, and it's not really even that important for it. I think it just helps maybe with a little bit the way it looks. But there's so much inconsistency with natural peacock Hurl that trying to make a perfect peacock body is very hard to do. Tie those down. Clip those off. Next, we're going to wrap our tinsel so that it is silver side facing out. Secure. For the legs, I'm using hen saddle. This is from Whiting Farms. I'm going to tie this in the same way I would for a soft tackle fly, and that's by stroking some of those feathers back away from the tip. I like this. I can kind of measure how long I want those legs to be right there. And as I wrap this, I'm going to coax all those feathers backwards toward the rear. Just a couple turns. And see, I've made that hackle just a little bit over halfway, half the length of the body. Strays, we'll just kind of gather those and take them backwards, tie that in, and once we have them all secured, just kind of part the hackle on top of the hook. Just kind of push those down around the sides and to the bottom. And for the wing pad, we're using mallard duck flank feathers. This is natural color, and I'm just going to take this feather, I'm going to divide it here a little bit, some feathers backwards, just to expose the stem. We're going to tie this on so that it's flat on top of the body. Finish. There we go. Now we're going to trim that wing pad. So it's a little bit less than half the body length. You could start with half and see how it looks. And if you wanted to make it shorter, you could. As they say, you can't make it longer once you've cut it shorter. So I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. I found ideally it's just a little less than half. So there's our wing pad, and to kind of finish off this fly, I'm going to use just a little bit of UV resin on a bodkin. Just kind of dab that on the threads there, as well as a little bit on that wing pad, and just kind of lock it in place. Hit it with UV light. And we're done. Back in the day, this was one of my favorite patterns to fish, and it still is one of my favorite to tie. I don't fish it not as much as what I probably should. It has always worked well for me in the past, and it will continue to for many years to come, I'm sure. There's the Zug Bug.